I can't believe what I just watched. We just got one of the most insane pay-per-view endings in the history of history. First, Randy Orton returned after 18 months away, helped his team get the win in the men's War Games match, and then to end the show, the unthinkable happened. Cult of Personality hit, and CM Punk made his return to the WWE after nearly a decade away from the company. I had my expectations set very low because I always take these rumblings with a grain of salt and didn't want to set myself up for disappointment. The rumors had been swirling and they'd been crazy that WWE was in the hunt to bring back CM Punk, and not only that, they wanted his grand return to be in his hometown of Chicago, Illinois. Not once but twice, with two different companies, CM Punk has cemented himself in history with two iconic returns, both of them coming in his hometown of Chicago. Of course, the emotions are at a high right now because what we just saw was crazy. A lot of us didn't know whether it would happen or not, but there he was to close out the show live and in living color, and it was pure madness. WWE produced CM Punk to end Survivor Series 2023, and the pop, the moment, the whole execution was legendary. Now there's so many questions. Who does he end up facing? What brand does he go to? Does he finally end up winning a Rumble and finally main event WrestleMania? I know a lot of people have reservations for Punk and the drama that goes with him, but you can't deny he's a huge star that helps make WWE's marquee even bigger. To say CM Punk is back in 2023 is something that I never thought would happen. The most insane stretch of wrestling continues. We had last year and everything that went on from Vince and Cody and everything in between. And now the insanity continues, and who knows where we go to next with CM Punk. Punk versus Roman, Punk versus Cody, Punk versus Rollins, who looked really mad when he returned. I'm going to roll that clip now. The possibilities are absolutely endless with where CM Punk can go, how many great rivalries he can have, and it almost doesn't feel real. Online, when you see pictures of CM Punk in a WWE arena, you're gonna think it's one of those photoshops that we've been seeing for years, but it's real. 2014 was the last time we saw this man, and the whole landscape of the WWE has changed. What's crazy about the return is they just let him come out, soak up the reaction, and then they ended the show. End it with a cliffhanger, and now we're left with so many questions. We all remember how messy of a divorce it was between CM Punk and the WWE, and we thought this was a fence that could never be mended. Somehow, some way it has, and now CM Punk is back with the WWE. Seriously, it was perfect. But this movie has a little bit more to it. Let's not forget about another massive return. Let's not let this overshadow the return of Mr. Survivor Series himself, Randy Orton. He finally came back to the WWE after close to 2 years away with injury, and anyone who follows this channel, anyone who knows me, knows he's one of my all-time favorites, and hearing voices, it did get me a little, I'm not gonna lie. It was a shot of adrenaline that I haven't felt watching wrestling in a long time. Last time I remember being that hyped was when Brock Lesnar came back at SummerSlam 2021. And the way everything looked for Randy Orton, it seemed like his career would be over. A man that's been a huge part of our childhoods. It felt like he wouldn't be able to get that proper goodbye, and chances were he wouldn't be able to step into the ring again. But earlier this week, WWE announced that he'd be the 5th and final member for Cody's War Games team. They waited it out, and when voices hit, that arena again was rocking. It was so nice to see Randy Orton back in the WWE, and he looked fantastic. He looked in ring shape. He looked like he hadn't missed a beat. I can't talk about the return and not mention how we got there, because when the clock went down, WWE made it seem like no one was coming out. Then Rhea Ripley's music hit. She came out with the Money in the Bank, and it looked like we were about to have Priest cash in on Rollins because him and his team were all down and out. And that's when WWE decided to pull the trigger, and it was amazing. Even though we all knew it was coming, it was so awesome. It felt so good. I was smiling from ear to ear because Randy Orton was finally back. One of the guys, one of the best WWE superstars of all time. A guy that had been out for so long, and absence did make the heart grow fonder. He came back, he looked fantastic, did all his vintage moves, and we also got a crazy RKO on JD McDonough where he was thrown from the steel cage into a waiting Randy Orton, and the babyface team ended up getting the win. Not one, they got both. WWE produced Randy Orton and CM Punk on the same night, and when Punk was coming out, they did the old NXT trick with the bug in the corner to make it seem like the show was over. Cult of Personality hit, and the ending to Survivor Series was a full-on movie. The last, 15 minutes? Just pure insanity. Storybook ending. The hero returns, and then the man who fans haven't seen in the company for so long struts out, and Chicago explodes. Both these returns were just so special, and they made the night unforgettable, and it's going to live on forever. The ending to Survivor Series will never ever be forgotten. There was so much adrenaline in that 15 minutes, from crazy moves, the returns, just so much happening, a teased cash in. It was insanity. It's just fun to be a wrestling fan, and these moments are part of the reason we love it. Comebacks, mending fences with someone you didn't see eye to eye with, someone who you never thought would be back actually coming back, and the unthinkable like this happening, in turn creating moments that'll live forever. As a Ruthless Aggression kid, it kind of pains me that Edge left, then Cena came back, then Cena left, then Randy came back. They just keep barely missing each other, and I just want a simple interaction one more time for all the Ruthless Aggression kids. Hopefully it happens, but man, insane. Let's hope there's no backstage beef, there's no locker room assaults, no one's biting anyone's ear off or anything like that. I haven't even gotten to everything else yet. The show started off with an amazing War Games match between the women. Again, a lot of the WWE's biggest female stars were in this match, from Asuka to Charlotte to Bianca Belair, and they just went out there and had a chaotic and really fun match, and it was headlined by some huge spots. Io jumped from the top of the cage with a trash can over her head onto the pile below. Then Charlotte scaled the cage to hit a moonsault from the top onto everyone. The babyface team, that being Bianca's side, ended up winning, and the story coming out of this is, where does Bayley go? Clearly there's a face turn coming for her. In this match, she tried everything in her power to keep the match alive for her team, from breaking up pinfalls and even taking the bullet for team members, but in the end, she got pinned. So it's eventually going to lead to a Bayley face turn, and I think it's been long overdue. The last time she was a face, she was the hugger. Now it'll be interesting to see where things go and how they portray this on SmackDown moving forward. Oh yeah, Charlotte and Becky also hugged on a night where it seems like differences are put aside, so there you go, only makes sense. Elsewhere, Zoe Stark and Rhea Ripley had a strong match, with Rhea retaining her women's championship. Gunther versus Miz was pretty fun for what it was. It wasn't anything crazy. Probably one of the weaker Gunther title defenses, but it still had some fun near falls in it, with Miz going low and trying his hardest to come out on top. Gunther ended up tapping out Miz. The finish felt abrupt. Can say the same thing for Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar. A fun match, but again, abrupt finish. I gotta say, heel Santos is gonna be a thing of beauty if he ends up getting Humberto and Garza with him. He's already done so well, and I think he's gonna have a lot of new fans, because this is him purely in his element. Ask any NXT fan, they'll tell you that heel Santos is the best Santos, and I completely am down to see him versus Rey at WrestleMania 40. And again, I've talked about so many times how WWE has failed to find their next big Hispanic star. They have a bunch of them slowly building up right now, so that's good for them. I already talked about CM Punk and Randy Orton's return. There was another return on this night, and that was R-Truth, who came back in a backstage segment. One of the real underappreciated guys in the WWE, just for the amount of humor and fun he brings. But let's go back to where it started in this video. CM Punk and Randy Orton are back in the WWE. It is insanity. Not one, but both. What was an otherwise okay show, it wasn't anything crazy. It was medium to good territory. Ended up being one of the most legendary nights in WWE history. I know this isn't the normal video you guys are used to, with a lot of beat for beats on the matches and me telling you the entirety of the storylines. It's fun to get away from that sometimes, because I just want to give my honest reaction to this and how crazy this ending was. A lot of us are just in shock at the ending to Survivor Series that we just witnessed. CM Punk, Randy Orton, back to back on the same night. The ending to Survivor Series was simply something straight out of a movie. See you guys.